all fight fans. So Canelo has yet to actually give up his IBF title. Now, for all of you who have came into my video where I talk about Canelo being stripped by the IBF, telling me, no, he vacated. No, you see, he actually vacated. Man, stop talking about boxing. He vacated. He did not. He did not vacate the title. He is still holding on to the title, and he's actually undecided on the prospect of fighting William Skull. The IBF, if Canelo does not make a decision, will strip him, and he only has until Thursday to make that decision. He is currently in Italy on vacation with his wife, and yes, he is stalling because he still wants to be undisputed. But just so that the technicality, semantics, fandom out there that is the boxing internet world, you guys love technicalities. No, Devin Haney is the champion. He's the WBC champion because he has the belt. Technically, it's like, yeah, but Lomachenko was the one who won that belt, and Lomachenko gave him that belt when he upgraded his belt to the franchise belt. And even if the WBC belt that Devin Haney actually has is the correct belt that's actually seen by the WBC, by the sanctioning body, as the actual WBC belt, he didn't actually win it. Lomachenko won it. But because of technicalities and because of semantics and because of all of these things, we're going to say that Lomachenko is not the WBC champion, even though he actually won the belt. If Teofimo Lopez beats Josh Taylor because of technicalities and semantics, and we're going to say that Teofimo Lopez didn't beat a person who was undisputed. It doesn't matter if he was undisputed. He wasn't when he lost to Teofimo, even though he never lost in the ring and only was stripped of his belts. The technicality that you have to literally, it's like it's all made to muddy the waters to protect people's favorite fighters. Unfortunately, on this channel, I can care less who your favorite fighter is, who my favorite fighter is. I just talk about what the thing is, right? And him vacating the belt when he's about to be stripped, and for people to come in here and be like, oh my God, he's not been stripped, he's vacated. It's equivalent to a person who is going to go to jail and turns himself in. It's like, he didn't get arrested, he turned himself in. Who cares? He has no choice. He has no choice in the matter. If he doesn't fight William Skull, Canelo will have to be stripped of the IBF title. If he does fight William Skull, then he will remain the IBF champion, but it will come at a heavy cost, a super heavy cost, a cost where people are not going to buy this pay-per-view. If only 500,000 people bought the Munguia Canelo fight, we're looking at maybe less than 300,000 pay-per-view buys. And the conversation will start to shift to the fact that Canelo is actually not the face of boxing in the way that people think he is. Because if we start seeing numbers from like Ryan Garcia competing with Canelo numbers, or Tank Davis competing with Canelo numbers, then we can't just have a consensus Canelo is the face of the sport. Now, if Canelo fights somebody like a Benavidez or a Crawford fight, believe it or not, is very plausible now, because Turki Al-Sheikh has stated that they are literally in heavy negotiations to make Canelo versus Crawford a true possibility. Crawford is fighting within that Saudi Arabia kind of atmosphere because he's going to be on a Riyadh season in the US kind of fight card, which is really a super stacked card because they're loving stacking these cards, and I'm loving it for boxing. Canelo actually did a video tweet where he is like, talking about good luck, Eddie Hearn, on your 5 versus 5. That didn't go too well for Eddie Hearn, but either way, he's connecting himself to Saudi Arabia. He didn't have to do that, but they're showing that there's a connection there with Canelo and Saudi Arabia, where Canelo is open to having those lines of communication opened with Saudi Arabia. And the amount of money that Saudi Arabia has is no joke. So they're able to make things that seem impossible possible. We never thought we were going to see Artur Beterbiev and Bivol, which we haven't yet, but they're working towards that. It's only because he got injured. We never thought that we were going to see undisputed heavyweight champion with Usyk versus Fury. We never thought we were going to see that, but the money factor is no longer a factor when it comes to Saudi Arabia. So yes, Canelo is still the IBF champion. There were rumors that he vacated. He actually did not vacate. And just a quick look at an article from Marca.com, which is a Mexican online boxing publication or sport publication thing. Let's take a look at it real quick. Okay, so it says here, Canelo Alvarez stalls on major IBF decision ahead of potential William Skull fight. Canelo Alvarez is reportedly yet to decide whether he will vacate his IBF 168-pound title to postpone the fight of his mandatory challenger, William Skull. According to boxing reporter Dan Rafael, Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has neither vacated nor decided to vacate his IBF belt. Strategic considerations for Canelo Crawford or William Skull. While Canelo is on holiday in Italy with his wife, there is an event scheduled on Thursday. This is the purse bid that I was talking about in my previous video for the Canelo versus Skull fight. And it will be interesting to see what the winner delivers. It will be a title defense for Canelo. This matchup is not expected to do well on pay-per-view, as the 31-year-old Cuban Skull, who is unbeaten in 22 wins and 9 KOs, is virtually unknown outside of his home nation, even to boxing's most dedicated fans. The IBF has proposed Skull as the next mandatory challenger for Alvarez to face, yet his best win was against Sean Hemphill, another fighter few fans have heard of. Skull has already faced Sean Hemphill, Christian Fabian Rios, Abel Nicolas Adriel, and Evgeny Shevchenko, but Alvarez will be his chance to land his biggest scalp yet. Should Canelo decide to defend the belt against Skull, which no one thinks is a viable outcome, the fight will likely be scheduled for September. So yeah, we don't have to continue reading. Basically, it's just one of those things where it is very clear that this is not a viable path forward for Canelo in terms of all the marketing aspects. Everything when it comes to marketing, this is not a viable move forward. So he's probably going to vacate or be stripped, whatever it is. He literally only has until 2 days from now, right, to make that decision. He's chilling in Italy right now. Whatever decision he makes, there is the third option. He could fight William Skull, but fighting William Skull, I think, is much worse than not being undisputed. It just basically is it's on the fact that how much does he care about still remaining undisputed at 168? Does he care about it like OD? Like, is it over the top how much he cares? If he doesn't care about it that much, then this is a no-brainer. If that thing matters to him a lot, to hold on to that, to have that prestige and keep going with that prestige, then it's going to, it's going to be a tougher choice, and he might fight William Skull. Personally, Saudi Arabia is working with him to try to fight Terence Crawford. I think that will be a mega super fight. A mega super fight. I think people have underestimated how popular Crawford has become after beating Errol Spence. First of all, the pay-per-view did like 700 and something thousand pay-per-views. That's a lot. If you connect 700 and something thousand pay-per-views, that means that Crawford could pull numbers, because it was Crawford versus Errol Spence. Errol Spence by himself was doing like 200,000 pay-per-views, sometimes even lower than that. You put them together, that means that there's a pull. Even in the pirating era, there is a pull that is unprecedented for Crawford and Errol Spence. Crawford won, so he absorbs that excitement, that fandom, that trajectory, that momentum. He absorbs that. And if you put him up against a dance partner like Canelo, and you give Canelo a dance partner like Terence Crawford, we're crossing the 1 million mark easy. easy. So I think it makes a lot of sense if Canelo wants to recapture the status where it's undeniable that he's the face of boxing, a Crawford fight would be perfect, right? A Benavidez fight will be good too, but I think a Crawford fight will be more lucrative, believe it or not, because boxing fans want Benavidez, but like boxing fans and the whole world of that aren't boxing fans also want Crawford, right? So I think Crawford is more lucrative. Benavidez makes more sense, but Crawford is definitely more lucrative in my opinion. So anyways, there you have it, guys. Still not vacated or stripped yet of the IBF title. As mentioned in my video, I said he hasn't been stripped yet. He will be stripped because he doesn't want to fight William Skull, but he hasn't done it yet. People just jumped in on my video. Yo, he vacated. You don't know what you're talking about. No, you don't know what you're talking about because the man didn't even vacate the title. That was rumored. He didn't even vacate the title. Anyways, until the next one, if you want to see me talk about it and break down the whole thing as when it first came out, when that news first dropped about the William Skull and IBF mandating it, I'm going to have that video right here. So you can go ahead and click on the video and it'll take you right there, and I'll see you in that video. Peace out, guys.